All right, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few different things. But first, let's talk about like fitness and health because you are a personal trainer, right?
Yeah, I do online coaching.
Okay, cool. So this is the first time I've
Same
had
thing.
somebody on to talk about health. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I'll say like online coaching, like basically like online personal training.
Okay, cool. Do you like record videos of yourself like showing form for training, and then that way when people watch it online, they can make sure they're doing the form right? Or how does that work?
Yeah, it's like all done through an app. So there's like pre-recorded videos of workouts. People just basically, I don't work out with them. I kind of just give them a guide of what to do and like videos with instructions, so like they can kind of do things in their own time too. Like, cause yeah, it's all done remotely and virtually and like on an app. So
Oh, cool. How long have you been doing this?
about a little over a year,
Okay, and how long have you been vegan?
7 years.
7 years. Okay, and so it looks like you do bodybuilding yourself. Well, I guess you'd have to do personal training. Did you start that before or after going vegan?
I used to work out a little bit before going vegan, but I would say like once I went vegan, I had a lot more energy, and then I got a lot more serious about working out because doing the whole plant-based thing when I did it right when I first started off, and I seen a ton of like health benefits, ton of energy, and then I started working out after the fact of having all that energy. Like I was just like I feel great. I was like I think I need to start doing like now my health's better. I should start going to the gym, and then I started learning about then I had other questions like, okay, how do I get protein as a vegan? And then I just started learning from there, and then I just built on it. And now I'm an online coach for vegans. So
Gotcha. Cool. That's awesome. And then anybody watching, I'll have your description or in the description, I'll have links to your sites and stuff like that to check you out.
oh yeah,
Um, oh, what's up?
yeah, so that's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's see. So with I guess just to get a brief rundown on your take on fitness, is there a certain or not fitness, sorry, health. Is there a certain approach you take? Because there's a lot of vegans that'll do like starch diets where it's all just mostly eating potatoes. And then there's and I think John McDougall's the one that kind of founded that idea. Then there's a lot of like raw vegans. Do you have some take? Do you think people should like track their macros and their micros, or what are your thoughts on all that?
That's how I do it. The last one, the macros. I feel like the rules apply the same for everybody. Like a lot of vegans think they can build muscle just eating a ton of carbs for some reason, or they're like, oh, I'm like, where do you get your protein from? And they're like, beans, and I'm just like, but like your goals like fat loss. Like, why are you beans have a lot of carbs, and usually if you want to lose weight, a lot of the times a lot of people are gonna have to lower their carbs. Like you always hear that. So like sometimes like if I'm adjusting someone's macros or something, and they're like, "Oh, I want to eat beans," I'm like, "I can't put beans in your diet plan. It's gonna be more like high protein foods like tofu or seitan. It'll still be healthy, but it'll be more like foods that have a lot that are more macronutrient friendly to like weight loss, which would be like high protein foods and like lower carbs."
Gotcha. Okay. Do you do a lot of like protein shake type stuff, or do you try to keep it whole food?
I'll do like protein shakes and stuff like that. I'm not afraid to throw the mock meats in there. Some vegans want to be like perfectionists and like we're gonna eat all whole foods and raw, but like I don't
Mhm.
really see any jacked raw vegans. So, but like
Gotcha.
not to say that it's bad. I think like raw vegan's good for like certain goals. Like when as I get older, I'll probably go more towards raw vegan because it's healthier. But
Mhm.
like for like building muscle and like I do bodybuilding shows, like I'm not gonna go raw vegan prepping for a bodybuilding show. Like
Okay.
and it's not even to say like beans are bad too. I was talking about beans and stuff. Like if someone's goal was to like gain weight or put on size, then I'd probably have them eating beans for the protein and the carbs. So it just depends on the person's individual goals and stuff like that. Like everyone's different, so
For
gotta get
sure.
perspective.
Do most people come to you that want to do sort of what you are doing, where it's putting on muscle and just having it for the specific look, or do a lot of people come to you just wanting to be as healthy as they can?
I'd say most people just have like a like because like they see me they mostly like, oh, I want to build muscle, like I want to be jacked, I want to lose some weight, most of my clients are usually like fat loss, so it usually applies to like what I said in the beginning, like higher protein, lower carbs, things like that. Again,
Gotcha, gotcha,
but I do get the occasional client that needs to put on some size, and then their macros are a little bit different or their goals are a little bit different, and they can do different things with it. I've had clients who are like, "Oh, I want to be mostly raw" or something like that, and then I'll just do my best with what they like want. Like I try to make it work as best as possible. So what their goals are and like
gotcha.
their preferences.
Gotcha. Do you yourself or what you recommend other people? Do you use fasting, time restricted eating?
I actually I intermittent fast. I don't prescribe it, but if someone wanted to do it, I can help them with that if they wanted to do it. But I've always been that way. I've never been a breakfast guy, so I kind of always been fasting like my whole life without ever thinking about it. So
Gotcha.
but I
Gotcha.
do like intermittent fasting. Like how I do it is just that like I just eat I just make sure my last meal is probably like 4 or 5 hours before I go to bed, and I already eat late, so like so that's how I usually do
Gotcha.
it.
Cool, cool. Um, all right. Well, I guess before I hop over to some philosophical questions and break down some ideas, do you have any other thoughts on fitness? Well, I guess you could share your thoughts on this thought of mine. So I personally think that people I wish everybody was healthy. I wish people were just healthy so they would feel better themselves. But do you think we have a sort of an obligation to be healthy, especially for the vegan movement, if we want to share this idea with people that this is a healthy and good approach, that being healthy while espousing that message is beneficial for the animals?
Yeah, I think I don't think it's an obligation, like you don't have to, but
Hmm.
I do think it's I think every vegan should be healthy to set a good example for the lifestyle. And then I do think that like we are animals ourselves. So like if like you care about animals so much and their health and well-being, why don't you care about your own body and your own health and well-being? Like, you know?
Hmm.
So like a lot of vegans like they care about the animals so much, but then they're selfish with their own health. They're like, oh, I'm gonna eat all this garbage. I'm gonna be healthy, and then like you throw your health down the drain, and we're their only voice, and you're throwing your voice in the garbage. That's how I look at
Hmm.
it. So I'm just like, why wouldn't you be healthy as a vegan? And then like and it kind of it's good too because then people like a lot of times if you're vegan, people are always cherry picking at you, and they're just like, oh well, you don't look too healthy like and then like by being healthy in advance they can't really use that against you like like people can't really
Hmm.
talk past to me but I feel like even if you're vegan they're gonna say something no matter what like people will be like oh he's jacked and he's vegan he's probably on drugs I'll be like what the like we can't win
Yeah, yeah,
we can't
definitely.
win but like I do think it's better to be healthy as a vegan because then like it just says like it shows a lot like it's setting a good example like so people are gonna
Hmm.
listen to you more I feel like when you're healthier like, like, and
Hmm.
I was fatter when I was vegan at first, and people would be like, how are you vegan and you're fat? Like, like, so like now that I'm like this, I feel like people listen to me more. They take my advice more. They see that I'm more of a grounded person. Like I'm more disciplined. Like they see that I can make it work. So I feel like, someone will listen to me a lot more than, and that's just my opinion, but I feel like someone will
Hmm.
listen to me a lot more than like some animal activist with the sign who's like overweight or malnourished or just like screaming at people or they're very angry or depressed, like like
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think when I share my thoughts and talk to people about different like philosophical ideas, I feel like if I look like you, when people hear it, they'd be like, okay, there's something to this. Because yeah. So hopefully this talk and then whenever we just happen to chat outside of this, it'll be a reminder to me to get in shape. My
I'll yell at
biggest
you.
What's that?
I'll yell at you if you want.
I love that.
Okay, okay.
My biggest issue is, well, I think most people have food addictions of some sort, because everybody wants to look good and be healthy, and the majority of people are overweight. And so, if what they had to do was to change what they eat and they don't do it, the only thing I can think of that would make sense would be that they are addicted to the things they're eating. We just don't talk about it as a food addiction, and I think that's a big issue.
Yeah, I think it's an issue too. You can't really like go around like I wish you can say like you like um I like an aggressive approach. Some people don't like it, but people used to call me fat and stuff like that, and like people say like it's fat shaming, but like everyone calling me fat, they calling me names and stuff. Like I used it as fuel to better myself. Like
Hmm.
I'm happy people challenge me and said stuff like that to me because it's just the truth, what was I like, well, how do you describe that? Like I was a fat person, I was fat,
Hmm.
I was like depressed, like it sucked, and someone joked around me and stuff like that, it brought awareness to it, and then I did something about it. Like I probably would never be in shape if people didn't call me fat or made me conscious of it,
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. There seems to be what a thought just left my mind. What was I just gonna say? Oh yeah, so like if somebody starts smoking or doing drugs, everybody will like get together and say, "We care about you. You need to stop." But for some reason, if people get super overweight, there's just this taboo about it. They feel like it's more of a bullying instead of a holding people accountable and making their friends and family members be healthy. So if somebody's doing heroin, it'll be like, I want to spend my time with you because you're a cherished loved one. So I need you to stop this. Let's get you in rehab. But if somebody is like 200 pounds overweight or 100 or 50 pounds overweight, nobody thinks about that part. They don't say, hey, I want to spend time with you. I want, when you're older, I want you to be able to play with the grandkids. They just, nobody talks about it. And I don't know if it's just because if people talk so much the opposite, where people say, don't tell people they're fat. But I don't know how we can change that as a society, but I really think we should.
No, we should. Most people, I don't like how most people are. They're like, you go to like a Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, and then instead of addressing that, like when you see someone eating a lot, or you see that they have some type of a food problem, most people would go with another family member, like driving home, and they'll be like, "Oh, you seen like Beth, how much weight she gained? Da-da-da-da. Like she's like letting herself go." But they should be having that conversation with the person versus someone else talking trash behind their back. But
Hmm.
most people won't do that. With my really close friends, especially if it's like another guy or something that I'm really close to, they're really overweight, I'll have a serious conversation with them, but I won't have it with most people because obviously a lot of people are gonna take it the wrong way. They might get upset. So yeah, it's like walking on eggshells. But like with like certain people, I have certain close friends where I'll talk to them like that, like hey, my business partners, I'll be like dude, you're really overweight. If we're gonna be business partners for like the next 20, 30 years, and we're gonna be in rooms like shaking hands with people and stuff like that. I want you to take your health serious because what if your health does go down the drain and you pass away or something, and then and just I think about that stuff, and I have those serious conversations with my close friends that are overweight, and it actually helps some of them. Like I actually have one in my program right now because he took
Hmm.
the conversation serious. So I feel like with the you just gotta kind of judge who to say it to. And I'm pretty good at that. Like I'm not gonna just go up to someone and be like, "Hey, you're fat," like get in shape,
Hmm.
I know where that
Yeah.
could go, but I do feel like it is like the same concept, like that whole concept of addiction. Like if you watch an episode of like My 600 Pound Life and Intervention back to back, like
Hmm.
literally they behave the exact same way as the drug addicts. Like the food is literally it is an addiction. Like why are you to get 600 pounds? Like it's a food addiction. Like you're coping from something, some type of trauma or something. I'm not a therapist, but that's what I feel like it is. And usually when they start talking about their issues, there's usually something down below like that happened or some type of trauma where they're using food as a coping mechanism the same way someone would use drugs.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, either a mixture of some type of trauma or just how certain foods affect your brain levels, like dopamine and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then like when you see those foods again, you just remember that you love that feeling. And a lot of people I think connect it with like when they're depressed, they'll eat, but then that'll make them overweight, which will make them more depressed. And yeah, it's wild. Like I've gone back and forth. So right now I'm about 230 pounds and I'm only 5'10", and so I think I should be somewhere around like 160, 170 if BMIs are right, aside from like gaining muscle, but just as far as like losing weight. So I got a good ways to go, like about 60 or so pounds. Um and I every once in a while, like maybe 5 years ago, I think I over like 6 months to a year's time, I got down to like 180, 190-ish. And I'd be doing great. I'd go months and months of just like eating great whole foods, just the healthiest I could eat. But then like one day I'll see something and then it'll just switch. It's like somebody that's like stopped smoking for 5 years and then they see a cigarette and something just goes crazy. But usually it's more like I'll go a week or a month or maybe even 2 months eating just the healthiest I can eat, trying to have it be my lifestyle of what I want to do for the rest of my life. But then I'll be at like a birthday party for like my kid's friend or something. And then at this party, the only thing that's there is like cakes and French fries. And, there'll be, even if it's vegan stuff, everybody will be like, oh, there's vegan kids here. So there's vegan cupcakes and everything's unhealthy wherever you go for like birthday parties, pizza places. And I'm fine when I'm at my house because I can, luckily my family's on board for having the whole house be like healthy food. But when you're out and about and you're like stuck in an area, I don't know. I guess, I mean, you're so fit, you probably haven't fallen off a wagon in a long time. But I don't know if you remember back 7 years ago with falling off the wagon, but it's wild. It's wild. Like, I don't know the best approach other than maybe making sure everyone close to you is on board with helping you and, like having your house not have the garbage come into it.
There's so many approaches. It's not like you have to eliminate junk food forever. I have good control over it. I love snacks and stuff. I'm not even gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm at a birthday party and they have vegan cupcakes, I'm like, wow, those are vegan. I'll eat the cupcakes. But the thing is, I'm not gonna sit there and eat 5 or 6 cupcakes. I'll eat just one.
Mm-hmm.
That's where most people get it wrong. Like they're like overindulging. Like I know how to have like just one cookie or maybe two cookies or just like a little bit of ice cream. Like, and I know how to count my macros, so like I can actually fit like 2 scoops of ice cream into my macros, and then it's fine. So I'm not like a perfectionist. I'm like I'm not gonna say here and be like I eat like perfect, but like I
Mm-hmm.
do um have good control over it. I made the lifestyle change, and I know how to squeeze that stuff in. And then like if you get to like a certain point, like a lot of people like they don't stick with it long enough. Like if you stick with the diet long enough and you're lifting weights and stuff like that, you can eventually like reverse diet, speed up your metabolism, and then you'll be able to eat that stuff. And you see there's a lot of fitness people like the Rock has a cheat day where he eats a bunch of pizza, ice cream, and donuts and he's still jacked. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like certain systems and things you can do with your body to where it'll adjust where you can have those things sometimes. So you're not like
Mm-hmm.
sitting there being a perfectionist, like I'm gonna eat salads all day long. I don't really think that's realistic. There's some people who do that, but I know I never be perfect with it. And then sometimes I'll mess up a little bit, but like I'll never go off the rails and like eat a whole pizza or like the whole tray of cookies. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
do it. So
Yeah, well, I wonder if it's a thing you can learn, like if somebody that's addicted to something can get to the level where they learn to do it how you do it, or if certain mind types and well, probably not body types, but like mental types could do exactly what you're doing and do it right. But then I wonder if there's a lot of people that they just can never get to that level, and it'd be better for them to completely cut out processed stuff and not just do like salads, but do like eating a ton of food, eating like nuts and seeds and grains, and like, and you could eat, I don't know, whatever is enough to fill them up and make them not like fall off. But I wonder, because I can't imagine myself how I have viewed my attempts to be healthy and falling off. I can't imagine myself ever getting to a level where if I could be super fit like you, but then if I were to cave and eat a certain thing, I think I would just eat the whole tray like you're talking about. And so I don't know.
yeah, it's probably more of just I would say with like it sounds like with this is a building like discipline. Like if once you build a discipline, like I feel like you can apply it to so many areas of your life.
Mhm.
Not even with just that. Like someone could be super disciplined and then let's say they go out to drink with their friends, everyone else is getting wasted, but they're able to have like one or two drinks or not drink at all. So you can apply it to other areas too. Like,
Gotcha.
so I would say it's just more like yeah, just building the discipline because then once you have the discipline, then like you'll know like hey, I can only have these like my macro say I can have just two of these cookies and that's all you're gonna eat is those two cookies. Like, most people just like I said, most people can't do it. It's hard. It's
Hmm.
hard. Like our environment's like the way our like our brains are wired, like when you taste those kind of foods, like they're set up that way like to be super addictive.
Hmm.
Like our pre like I don't know how to like I'm not more than like our prehistoric brains or whatever. Like the like our taste our palates for taste, like when you taste that, it's gonna like release so much dopamine and then your body's gonna like eat more, eat more, eat more. And then
Hmm.
like I think that's why our whole country is like extremely overweight. It's like our environment is like against us. Like the grocery stores, everything. It's hard. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. That's why most people aren't in shape. Like they're not gonna
Hmm.
want to make those sacrifices.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see a world where um grocery stores couldn't sell processed food or something. And then people can only sell whole foods. And then if you want to process it, you have to do it at your own home. You have to take sugar cane and turn it into processed sugar or something. The world would be so much healthier. So I guess we would just want to decide, would the world be better off if there was nothing processed, or do we just need to discipline people, like get them have them discipline themselves to get them to the level where they I think most people are just not capable of it. When you have a store that has candy bars and all this stuff, I don't know if it's just a lack of care of their own health, or if it's that people care about the here and now more so than the future. They're not thinking about when I'm 40 or 50 or 60, I'm going to be in the hospital all the time because I'm so overweight. Where like in the moment when they're 20, they're just like, oh, this candy tastes so good. I think people would just be so much better off if like the idea of processed sugars and processed oils just never existed.
Yeah, but that's that. I don't think it's gonna go away now. But yeah, with
Yeah.
but I think you're right. They're all living in the moment. They're not thinking long term. I like to think long term. Like that's why I started eating this way because my doctor put me on like blood pressure pills, and then like I didn't want to like get on medicine. Like I was like I'm more like holistic, and
Hmm.
I've always thought that way. And then like as soon as they put me on the blood pressure medication. I was like, I do not want to do this. So like that's how I first went vegan because they put me on blood pressure meds. And
Oh, cool.
I didn't want to take them because I remember like seeing my grandparents, like my older uncles and aunts on handfuls of pills with all kinds of side effects, like extremely sick, like bedridden. I was like, I didn't want to live that way. Like I was thinking ahead. I wasn't thinking of like the moment. I wasn't thinking like like if I was thinking in the moment, I could have like, okay, I'll take these pills. At least I'm not taking as many as they're taking. But I was thinking
Hmm.
like I don't want to take these. And I remember I went plant-based. I came back to see my doctor and he was just like, "Oh, I see your blood pressure went down." He's like, "I see the pills are working." I was like, "I never got them." And then he got mad at me. He got upset at me. He's like, "What do you mean? Then how's your blood pressure down?" I was like, "Oh, I started eating a vegan diet." And then he was like, "That's not healthy." Da, 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 da. Like I was like, but my blood pressure went down. Like he was upset, like kind of because like he told me what to do, and I kind of went against him. I've always been kind of rebellious, anyways. I was like, I'm not
Hmm.
taking these pills. I'm gonna go eat healthy, and it worked. I was surprised it actually worked, but it did. And I was like, this vegan thing is actually working. And my doctor was mad at me. That doctor actually passed away too from getting really sick too. So like.
Oh, dang.
And I used to tell him to be healthy, but I'm not saying like obviously rest in peace. I'm sorry that happened, but like I think he had like diabetes or like heart disease or something. But
Hmm.
he always wanted to prescribe. Like he was upset. He was more upset that I didn't take the pills versus like eating healthy. And but like I was like I looked up all this information. I read some nutrition books. I was just like it worked, but like he was so mad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that doctors, they're medical doctors or medicine. Their job is to prescribe medicine. Now, some of them might be healthy and, eat well, and then some of them might not be healthy at all. But a lot of people will say like, "Oh, ask your doctor about this." And you'd really want to the main thing you'd want to ask your doctor about is medicine, and which is something we hopefully would not be wanting to take anyways. So it's kind of a bummer that people mix that up and they think doctor means the person knowledgeable about health.
Yeah, they obviously a doctor went to med school for 8 years. They're highly trained, like with when it comes to like prescribing medicine and stuff like that. But I feel like with like nutrition, obviously like doctors don't really get much education on nutrition. I feel like if I had to like get nutrition advice, I go to a nutritionist or a dietitian, you know. But if I
Yeah.
have to get a surgery or something, or like or I need a prescription for like some type of mental illness, I'm gonna go see a doctor, like
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we got a few minutes left here. Let's do I wanna pick your brain on some philosophical ideas. So before I do it, I'm gonna ask you the annoying question that everybody non-vegans ask vegans, which is if you were on an island and you were starving to death and there was animals there like chickens or whatever, would you eat the chickens to survive?
if it came down to survival.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, in a survival situation, like I mean, like I wouldn't want to. I'd probably try like my hardest not to.
Hmm.
Like I'd like try to get coconuts or like whatever I could. But I
Hmm.
feel like if I had no choice, like and like I had to survive, like I think in a survival situation, I would do whatever it takes to survive, to be honest.
Okay,
Most
cool.
some vegans might not like that answer, but just
Yeah.
being honest.
No, for sure.
But
No, and
like,
I
I
think
don't think I wouldn't like, but like, I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, obviously, like we have like Whole Foods and grocery stores. Like, I don't
yeah.
like, I don't, like, hopefully, I'm not in a survival situation soon. But like, if it was
Yeah.
life or death, like I feel like I don't even know what I would do. Like this, I see all those documentaries where people like crash in Antarctica and they're
Hmm.
eating people. The people's
Yeah.
dead died in the crash. So like, I don't know what I would do. But I think like if it came down to survival and like I have a family and stuff like that, and like I'm like I have to survive to get back to my family, I think I would
Hmm.
do whatever it takes if I'm being honest.
Yeah, yeah, like your instincts will kick in and you'll just want to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right, it'd be a last resort. It'd be a last resort. But
yeah, for sure. Well, and so the reason I asked that is because I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I haven't really challenged many people on it or myself. But I'm wondering what level of nutrition should make us would make it worth it to eat animals. So right now I think we're both convinced that you can be perfectly healthy for your entire life eating plant-based. But just for hypothetical sake to compare like how much we care about our own health versus how much we care about not killing an animal. What if over to like over the next like 100 years it's discovered that humans need something specific from animals. Well, let's take something like B12. Let's say that all of a sudden, hypothetically, for no reason at all, B12 supplements didn't work, and there's no way to humanly possibly get B12 outside of eating an animal. Would you say that the negative effects of B12 would make it worth it to where we would ignore the moral side and eat whatever small amount of animal we need to get the B12 in? Or would you say that this is just part of how humans are? We're born, and once the B12's out of us, then we die younger than we normally would.
um I mean I don't know. Like so like trying to think like that was a like an in-depth question. Um I mean, I feel like I've read so many nutrition books, like the China study, like how not to die, how not to diet. Like I
Mhm.
know that like we don't. I know we don't- like in my mind, like I pretty much kind of know that like I can do this long term. I know so many
Mhm.
vegans have been doing it their whole life. So like in my eyes, I think that's just false. Unless like somehow like
Mhm.
maybe like if like my body or something like let's say like it did happen, like my body couldn't absorb B12 from supplements.
Mhm.
Like I don't think I let myself deteriorate. Like I have like I said, I have a family. Like if I
Mhm.
just let myself go and like my brain deteriorate and then I just let myself go and I could have just maybe ate like a little bit of fish or something.
Mhm.
But like I don't know. I feel like I am ethically vegan. Like I feel like I would do anything possible not to harm animals. But like if it came down, I think like as humans, like naturally humans are selfish. Like
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
so like I wouldn't want to, but like if that did happen, I think I would just eat the least amount possible if I had to be 100% honest. Some vegans might not like that answer,
Mhm.
but like I don't but like I don't see it happening though. Like I'm fine. Like I get all my blood levels checked, everything's
Mhm.
fine. Like I read all those nutrition books. I feel like my health, I feel like your health's better on a plant-based diet. Like, and
Oh,
there's so much.
yeah.
So like, like I feel like this is an advantage. Like you see documentaries like The Game Changers where like the athletes are performing better, they're recovering better, like they have more energy. Like I've like a plant-based diet's helped my health tremendously. Like I didn't start off doing this for ethical reasons. I eventually did make an ethical connection, so like I don't want to harm animals. But like I did start off for health reasons and like that's my main reason for being vegan. But like that's how I found it. Like I said, the blood pressure pills and like I wanted to be healthier. And clearly I'm really healthy. I'm thriving. Like my health's only getting better as the years go on. Like
Mhm.
people say you can like give like after 7, 8 years, like you're not gonna be vegan no more. And I'm like, my health's getting better, dude. Like
Yeah.
like I'm getting healthier. Like
Yeah. Well,
it's changing my life.
I'm glad
Like
you mentioned the doing it for health and then thinking of the ethics afterwards, because I think that's something people forget about. A lot of vegans, like the loudest vegans on the internet, will talk about how like plant-based vegans don't matter. That's not really a vegan and all this negative stuff. And I think what they're not realizing is most humans don't want to think of themselves as the bad guy. So if they eat meat and they've grown up eating meat and everybody eats meat, they're not going to challenge themselves on it. They're going to think like, I'm not a bad guy. Like, what? Why should I think of myself as the bad guy? But if they all of a sudden stop doing it, if for health reasons they stop eating the animals, and then while they're not being a bad guy contributing to this issue, then they can see the issue for what it is. They can go, oh, yeah, these things have feelings and they can suffer and they shouldn't suffer. And I can see that now because I'm not making them suffer. And I think most vegans need to recognize that and think like it's great if people switch over for ethical reasons only, but if people can switch over for environmental reasons or health reasons, and then once they're switched over, they're going to recognize the ethics of it. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
yeah, I wasn't ethical when I first started at all. Like I used to think the ethical vegans are crazy.
Right? Yeah.
I'm like they're freaking crazy, but then like I started connecting with some of them, talking to them, and I started to like I honestly kind of seen that they were right. I started watching those documentaries like Dominion and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to pay for this.
Mhm.
I think about the karma like in all reality when you're paying for that like if you're buying the meat in the grocery store, you're creating a demand for that, and that demand is like torturing animals in these slaughterhouses and stuff. Like I know where my money's going, and like I don't want to support that.
Yeah,
So like yeah, like the ethics like I think if I was truly plant-based, I think by now maybe I'd still be eating I'd figure out a way to eat like a little bit of meat, like some steak and stuff, but like I did make the ethical connection, so like I absolutely will not do it.
for
But
sure.
like because I know what goes on. So like I'm happy I made the connection because then it helps me stick with this forever. Like I don't want to harm animals. I don't want to directly pay for that. Like I in my eyes it's wrong. Like but
Mhm.
I don't judge people like you said like we've been doing this forever. Like I can see I can still think of like how I thought before, and like I can see that most people aren't bad people. They don't mean any harm, like most meat like people that eat meat and stuff, they're just I just feel like they're misinformed, or like you said, like they'll just be like, okay, well we've been doing this forever, those vegans are dumb, like like
Mhm.
what, like this they're only 5% of the population, they're crazy. Like it's easier to just like just assume we're crazy and not listen to us, like
Yeah.
so
Well, and I think that's one of the biggest problems with vegans saying like all or nothing. They try to convince people to go vegan, and if they don't go vegan, then they're like shut out. It's like, okay, you didn't go, so you're not in our group. And I really think that vegans should have a stronger push towards reducing suffering, and maybe something like, okay, you're not going to stop eating meat. It'd be hard to go cold turkey and stop meat and stop eggs, but what about dairy? Like look at the dairy industry, and you could point out the areas where the most suffering happens, and then try to get meat eaters to at least be involved in the conversation, because most meat eaters probably hate the idea of factory farms, and they'd prefer to have like grass-fed animals roaming free on fields and whatnot, but they don't really get a chance to talk about that much because vegans try to either make them go vegan or don't have any conversation about it. And I think if we all work together, vegans and non-vegans, we could probably end factory farming, or at least in some sense. We could at least get a lot of changes in the legislature for what's allowed or not allowed to happen in factory farms. But we're so focused on the all or nothing that it makes us look crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the way you're talking about it's how I think about it too. And like we should all be working together. Like I don't wanna like I never want to be that vegan who's judgmental, yelling at people. I feel like when you're constantly criticizing, judging, yelling at people, I feel like whoever does something when someone scolds you, like like I'm not gonna want to do it. I'm gonna be like, oh fuck that guy. Like,
Yeah.
being
Yep.
honest. Like someone trying to force me to do something or yell at me, but they call me a bad guy. It's like religious people. Like when like a religious person like it's just like, oh, like you don't believe in God, you're gonna go to hell. Like, like the vegans are doing the same thing when they're like, oh, if you eat animals, you're a bad person. And it's just like most people haven't made that connection and it's gonna be really hard. Like even when I was plant-based, it took me years to make the ethical connection to be vegan. And I was
Mhm.
literally deep into that topic every day, like seeing it on my news feed when I added vegans and stuff like that. And it took me a
Mhm.
few years to make an ethical connection when I'm looking at that information every day. So I know that like a lot of people, it's gonna take a lot of work for them to make that type of connection. Some people probably never will. Some people like especially people that are in survival mode, I feel like if like you can't pay your bills or like you're struggling and you're really poor, like why are you going to care about animals and stuff? You're more worried about your own survival. There's a lot of people out here
Yeah.
in survival mode, and I feel like a lot of those people aren't going to think about stuff like that or care. Like they're going to be like you guys worried about the chicken. Well, what about me? I'm about to be homeless.
Yeah.
Like some people can't really get those thoughts through their head because they have so many other major issues in their life. Like.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I definitely agree. And for me, and it took me a while to get to this level because a lot of people just don't think about these things. But I think I care, and this is probably an instinctual thing through evolution, but I think I care more about myself than I care about other humans and other animals. Like I want to be as healthy as I can be, and I want to have as good of a life I can have because my life is all I have. And then after that, I care more about like my family and friends than I do about other humans. So I would like I would like I care more about myself and them than I do other humans, but then I care more about other humans than I do about animals. But then at that level, I also respect the animals. So like if I had to save like a person or a dog from a burning house, I would save the person because I connect with people more. But when it comes down to just existing now, if I can be happy and healthy, which I can being vegan, and harming animals isn't going to help anybody else, then my go-to is I'm not going to harm an animal if I don't need to. But I think people come first, ourselves come first. If kind of like if you're talking about people that are extremely poor that can't really afford to even take the time to figure out how to be vegan. If that was my case, then yeah, I probably wouldn't. And even if I had the moral ideas, I still would say I can't do it right now. I feel bad, but I can't do it right now. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough subject. I feel like ethical vegans, like I feel like they have really big hearts. So I feel like they care
Mhm.
about animals more than anything, more than people, more than their family, more than themselves. Like,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
so I feel like the super ethical vegans, even though people hate them, they have really big hearts, and I think that's why they get so upset at other people. So
Mhm.
I don't like their approach, but I do really admire them. Like the super like the ethical one, like the super ethical ones. I
Mhm.
feel like they care about animals more than anything that exists, even themselves. Like that's why they don't care about their health. It's just like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the animals, like I don't care. I'm gonna eat all the Oreos I want. Like
Yeah.
fucking go fuck
Yeah.
yourself.
No.
Vegan.
I agree. It's really cool that they are that empathetic, and I am too. Like I consider myself, I care more about the ethics than anything. But I guess in my mind, I just think about the approach, and I think, will that approach make or harm, like help or harm the cause? And then
I feel like they're doing more harm, but I still
Yeah.
admire their like hearts, like
Yeah, no, I feel exactly the same way. Okay, so one more philosophical look, like the hypothetical one with the B12. Alex O'Connor, Cosmic Skeptic, I heard this on his channel where he was asking Earthling Ed. He said, if it turned out that being vegan made you shrink 3 feet shorter, and that let's say, for example, he didn't give this example, but let's say that you had to eat one fish a month to make yourself go back to your height. um would that be enough of a change in your life to make it to where your focus would be more on yourself to be willing to take out one fish a month?
to get tall again.
To yeah, so right now, what are you, how
That's
tall are you?
such a weird question.
Yeah,
I don't think I want to be a midget, man.
yeah, yeah, so let's say, what are you, like 6 foot?
Oh, poor fishy, man.
So,
uh,
so one fish a month makes you 6 foot, or zero fish makes you
what was
three
his
foot
answer? What did he say he would stay short forever?
um or I don't think Ed truly answered the question, so
I don't
I'll
think
have to
he
check
can.
back.
I feel like I can. The vegans are coming for me.
Yeah. It's tough because if it doesn't change your health, then it's hard to make a claim that you would make something suffer, is, one every month make one thing suffer.
Maybe
But
my
I think
fiance, maybe my fiance wouldn't be attracted to me no more, and then like I lose my whole family, like So maybe I might have I think my family is more important than the fish. Maybe that's why I want
yeah,
to think that way.
you do have to factor in all the things. Yeah, I would say yeah, because I think my
And then
my
no
my
one to buy
life would be
coaching,
so.
and then no one to buy coaching programs for me.
Mhm.
Because they're like, oh, that's a short guy, and then I won't be able to help more people go vegan, and then more animals will get eaten if I didn't eat that one fish a month. So yeah, I think
There you go.
Eat that fish every month.
Yeah, yeah. No, and it's tricky. Well, it's interesting because there's a lot of people out there that try to debunk veganism by talking about like crop deaths and all these various different things, or like things we need like B12. And in my mind, the philosophical idea of veganism is to not cause suffering unless it's needed. So if we needed it to not lose 3 feet, then we would eat that. If we needed it for, say, something like B12, then we'd eat that small amount to get the B12, but we would still be vegan. We would be people that are trying to cause as little suffering as possible. And I think a lot of people think that they'll find areas to debunk veganism, and I don't think you can really debunk the idea of trying to cause less suffering.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing too. Like, there's always gonna be suffering, and I don't really like those arguments. Like, I'll see like that Ted Nugent video where they talk about killing all the small animals in fields and stuff like that, and like, oh, you vegans are murderers too. But the thing is that people don't think about is like, how many fields does it take to feed a cow? You guys, there's still more fields to feed the animal that you guys are eating. So that argument is actually an argument for veganism, because if you're eating meat, there's more fields to feed a cow versus a human. So you guys are still killing way more animals. Like, veganism is about the path to least harm. I feel like there's always gonna be suffering no matter what. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
like the world has balance. It has to have some type of a balance. There's always gonna be good and bad. A lot of people don't want to deal with reality. They wanna they like I think like vegans would want it to be like a perfect world, but like there's always gonna be suffering. Something is always gonna
Mm-hmm.
suffer. Like, to produce our food, something has to happen. The I ate some vegetables this morning. How do I know the field wasn't tilled and like a few bunnies were killed? So like, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like no matter what, there's gonna be suffering. Like, this phone has cobalt in it, mined in Africa, where like there was human slavery. It was manufactured in a factory in China that had suicide nets around it. Maybe someone jumped out the building after and broke through the net and died. Like everything we do, I feel like there's some level of suffering no matter what. Like, I feel like there's always gonna be good and bad in that. Like, no one's gonna be perfect. Even vegans aren't perfect, but we're just trying our best to be as perfect as we can. A lot of people, like, they're just like, oh, we can't be perfect, and they're just like, fuck it. They throw the baby out with the bathwater, and like, I'm gonna eat 10 steaks. I don't give a fuck, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do my
Mm-hmm.
best to not do that. That's what basically
Yeah.
what vegans are. We're just trying our best. But I know we're not perfect. I'm not like, I never try to give people those vibes where like I'm better than you because I chose to eat this way. I know I'm not perfect either, but I know
Yeah.
I'm trying. I don't, and like I know a lot of y'all that are arguing with me, you guys aren't trying shit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, the way you just explain it is perfect. And I agree. The goal is to cause less suffering. Well, that was a great talk, man. And I'm looking forward to you yelling at me, even if it's just through typing about getting healthier. So yell at me. And I didn't get around to watching Game Changers, and I told you I was going to. So I'm gonna watch that in a couple days, and then we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, thanks for coming on, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, no problem. I'll talk to you soon, man. Good
All right.
talking to you.
Yep. Take care.